why are we getting people to fail at universities? Or maybe more appropriately, why are we failing people? Now, I think there are many reasons. The first one is that our staff-to-student ratios at universities are not good. When I was an undergraduate student, I had a supervisor. They assign you somebody called a supervisor. And he's a professor. So whenever you want to register for a course, you can't register until he has signed. And he signs with you. He looks at your transcript and say, maybe you can do this, maybe you can do that. And it's almost like a father figure. When I was an undergraduate student, my grandmother died. I received a telegram. Maurice, you know what a telegram is. Mr. Wadula, probably you do. You also do. I wrote the telegram about my grandmother. And my supervisor called all my professors, and all my professors were calling me to offer their condolences and telling me that I can take time to grieve, to grieve, and they will help me to catch up. Do you think it will happen in any of our universities? No. Absolutely no. Do you think it is important for learning? Of course it will be. So that was the first part. The second part was that I wanted a tutor for one of my courses. I think it was dynamics. When we were doing Coriolis forces, Mpo, you will remember that. I hope you still remember what Coriolis forces are. He's a mechanical engineer. You should know. So, and they say, so what is your house? And then the tutor comes to basically your learning space and tutor you. Do you think it will happen here? No. So our students are actually quite smart. We just do not give them the necessary support for them to succeed. What does it mean? It means we need to invest. We need to invest. And we're not going to be able to afford to invest unless our economy is actually big. When President Thabo Mbeki was president, Kosatu used to say, this jobless growth. Growth is good, whether it is jobless or not, because it means you can collect more taxes. And if you're growing at 4%, that money is in your economy. It will filter through, So we'll have to grow in order for us to be able to afford the levels of education that our people actually deserve. Now, in terms of rural background and exposure to ideas, I think we are all teachers. If you do not take time to teach another person, you have a skill. Do you take time to teach other people? I do. I have gone to my school and I have talked about Einstein's theory of general relativity at my high school. We have to learn to diffuse knowledge. The diffusion of knowledge into our communities is very, very important. And then obviously, there are issues of infrastructure, there are issues of libraries. They don't need to even be physical libraries now. You can be able to do that electronically. But unless we take responsibilities and we move away from this culture of dependency on authority, then we shall never succeed. Are we ready for the fourth industrial revolution? I believe you need 3 skills to survive in the fourth industrial revolution. Ability to understand language. the ability to speak and to write language. Secondly, the ability to be able to count, basic numeracy skills. And thirdly, the ability to be logical. Yeah. Very, very, you should be able to know that if Sarah is older than John and John is older than Peter, then Sarah is older than Peter, isn't it? Okay, I wanted to give you a more difficult one to confuse you, but I couldn't. So, so if you have those skills, which all those skills are not just cultivated in our educational institution, in our churches, in our communities. This idea that all these things are going to be done by authority, we have to move away from that. Now, lastly, the role of advocacy. The digital divide is almost self-inflicted. So the principles of demand and supply basically dictate that companies are not going to invest massively on digital infrastructure in rural areas. And government had a plan. They said every big company must donate 2% of its profit to the Universal Services Agency, so that the Universal Services Agency can be able to build digital infrastructure in places where it does not make economic sense for those companies to do. Good idea. Money has been collected. Do you think it has been used for that? No. Sadly, no. So it is self-inflicted. Unless we fix our political infrastructure, which depends on our social infrastructure, broken families are contributors to some of the problems that we are seeing here. The absence of fathers are absolute contributors to the problems that we see here. Unless we solve that problem, all these problems, whether it is xenophobia, whether it is violence against women, and so on and so forth, are going to be with us. Because somebody who goes and violates a woman is a person who grew up in our community. Normally, it's a person who has not been told that you can't do this. You cannot speak to a lady like this. So building our community we can march all we want. Unless we fix our communities, all these things are not going to amount to anything. In conclusion, I would like to end by quoting Kwame Nkrumah. He said, "Go and learn. Never before we need thinkers of great thoughts. Never before we need doers of great deeds. Let's go into our community and think great thoughts and do great deeds." Ngiyabonga. Thank you very much.